And finally, we are in.
Yay.
We're finally, we're finally in 2025. And this is now officially, we have been doing our podcast not for 4 years, but in 4 different years.
Yes.
2021 was our first episodes, 2022, 2023, 2024, and now 2025.
It's exciting. This is fun.
We are actually moving on up, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to 2025 and the Like the Way You Drink podcast.
Yay.
I'm Tim Gillette, one of your co-hosts with my greatest partner in the world here.
Oh.
Gladys Boutwell. All right. We put this thing together as a fun show to do back in 2021. We came up with this idea. We both like to drink. We both like whiskeys. But we found there's other things that we like to drink along the way and decided to do a podcast about it. So welcome, Robert. Thanks for tuning in from Canada. All right. We appreciate you. Let me get some of the banners going up here. Let everybody know who we are, what we do. So tonight, we're going to talk about, I think it's like kind of, we built this thing on like New Year's traditions because we didn't do a New Year's Day podcast.
Right.
Because of the fact it was we just needed a time off. All right. You know, I'm ready to wipe 2024 off the map. Done. It's like 2020. I wanted it out of there.
Right. Sometimes, we have one of those years that just help us appreciate our other years that we have around us that are a lot of fun. So, oh my goodness, I'm like munching in on all of this.
So tonight's episode, ladies and gentlemen, goes around 2 different foods and one drink. Now, this drink is kind of, because it's something around the holidays, I do it a lot. Now, this year, I don't think I did it as much, but in most past years, I remember I have this on Thanksgiving. I have it on Christmas. I had it when I'm setting a Christmas tree up. All right. I have it on New Year's. I have it on New Year's Eve. It's like, this is a drink that I have a lot. And it's probably why we've had it on the show a lot. And
Yes.
I'll bet you that every time we have it on the show, there's a different version of it we do.
Yes, that is a true story.
And there is something different I'm doing with mine tonight. Now, we're going Bloody Marys, and I know, Mary's Mixers, you had your chance to send me more mixer, and you didn't. So I'm going to have to use Zing Zang tonight. I am sorry, Mary's Mixers, but you should have hooked a brother up more, all right? Because we can't get it down here in Texas. So anyway, I have some Zing Zang, which before I found Mary's Mixers, Zing Zang was my favorite.
I do love Zing Zang.
Yeah.
Really, I truly, really appreciate it. It is, and you know what I love about them? And now I found Q and Fever that have the cans.
The Qs, yeah. I have a lot of Qs. I usually, last time we did it, I used Q. A can of Q, yeah.
And what I love about the can is that it's one drink. You don't have to worry about, is this, if I open it, when
I open this, is it going to go bad?
Yes.
All right, and I, well, in our house, Gwen and I drink probably the most. My mom probably has more, but my daughter doesn't drink all that much. So, like, if we open a bottle of something, it's going to spoil. There's a 50% chance if we don't finish it that night, we're going to spoil. And granted, Gwen will sit and drink it all. I won't. I don't drink that much. All right, I'm not a drink till I get buzzed. I have a couple drinks, enjoy the taste, and that's it. So you get these big bottles like the Zing Zang. This can stay in the refrigerator, and I think the expiration date was January 29th of 2025. So I have time.
All right.
But the things I'm going to do different in my Bloody Mary tonight is here in Texas. I've not tasted this yet. But I understand this distillery is less than 10 miles, maybe 15 miles from my house.
Okay.
All right. And they've gotten to be in a lot of bars around me, a lot of the distributors in the area.
Okay.
And the other day we were sitting at our local Italian restaurant, which has a bar, and they had some Western Sun vodka up there, but they didn't have the original vodka. They only had the flavors.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would have tasted it there, but I didn't that night. But I thought, we're doing Bloody Marys. Why not me taste Western Suns? They don't even know who we are. So they've not tried to buy me off with saying, hey, make the review good. So we're going to taste it on air and tell you whether it's good. And they can take this as a true review if they want or not, and they're getting they're going to get a tasting. So
well, I will tell you on my end, this is funny, and we're gonna have to get a picture of this because I picked up. Well, there was a drawing of various liquors, and this is one of them. So this is a local made with American corn and pure Oregon water, Gamper's vodka. So I've also not tried it. It still has the plastic on here. So this is also one that we're going to be reviewing on the air to see. And I need to get my little glass.
I'm gonna. You know what I'm going to do? You may have one handy, but I'm going to go get a shot glass because I'm going to taste it by itself.
Yes.
I'm going to grab a shot glass. I'll be right back.
Okay. And y'all, that's important for y'all to like what you're drinking. You want quality, even though you're mixing. Yes, if you're mixing in to a cocktail similar to like a Bloody Mary where it's tomato forward, you still want a good quality vodka in there, or gin, or if you're doing tequila, Bloody Maria, you still want something that tastes good. You don't want the bottom of the shelf. You want something that, even if it's not top shelf, kind of somewhere in the middle. And so I think this is where these are coming in. And so,
yeah, and I don't know what you got for Christmas, but I want to tell you something my mom got me for Christmas that I almost thought about putting in my Bloody Mary tonight. My mom got me a Buffalo Trace gift pack, and Buffalo Trace,
nice,
like dog mash.
Nice.
This is American moonshine I like.
Wow, very nice.
So, very similar to my Tim Smith's. So, but anyway, I got taster glass, and this is one of the taster glass. This is one of the things my daughter got me for Christmas.
Oh, that's cute.
Got us little shot glasses. So, we're gonna do a taster of this vodka before we mix a drink with it.
Oh,
and then I have food wise, I've got some shrimp cocktail as always that I'm gonna put in my Bloody Mary, and I made some deviled eggs. So, deviled eggs is supposed to be our thing tonight. So. Not getting any flavors in the smell, but his vodka is supposed to be a tasteless thing, but still.
This one is
baby, that is smooth vodka.
Yeah, so is this one. So where's my camera?
Western Sun, you've got some smooth vodka. They're on a Pilot Point, Texas, and literally Pilot Point, Texas is literally probably 10 miles from my house.
All right, so put it up on the screen.
There we go. We're gonna put this up on the screen. Let's put our vodkas up.
And keep it. Give me a second because I'm gonna get it with it up now because I got that one by itself, and now I'm gonna get it both of them here, so that way we can. Oh, hold on, right there. Oh, I need to put it a little bit closer. There we go.
Got it.
All right, got that one. Okay. Yeah, this is actually pretty good. So I do have my little deviled eggs right here with this is a roast beef. And then, of course, a skewer. This is going to be a decoration for my, and I didn't do like my traditional shrimp cocktail. I forgot that I can get it. I can still make it if I want to, but I'm going to put it as a decoration of my, in my Bloody Mary. Okay. Because that's always part of the fun is to have my food. Actually, I like food on my Bloody Mary. Oh,
to me, part of a Bloody Mary is all the salad, as I call it, that you put in it.
Mm-hmm.
And everything I have in the salad is, to me, good. I would eat it by itself. Keys being there, including, all right, the biggest thing we always put in, and that's my celery, baby.
That was the one thing I did not grab. So
I will sit and eat celery. It is one of my, it's a great vegetable that I love. It's refreshing. And here, watch. See?
Yes.
I'll eat it all by itself, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I love celery. I ran out. And so I went to the store today to grab a couple of other things and then forgot to grab the celery. Let's see if I can get this open. I think I might have one of those little doohickeys I might have to go get it. I'm using a rubber band. Somebody told me to use a rubber band when I'm trying to open.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, I was able to open it, so I used the rubber band.
Some other things that I'm putting in my Bloody Mary is I got some kosher dills, little minis. I use the minis. Or the slices, but to me, get a good mini because I'm doing a smaller cup tonight. So I'll put it there. Oh, baby. A couple other things I'd like to throw in there. Now, I always have a Slim Jim stick, and I think that was because I spent some time in Wisconsin once.
There you go. I'm going to grab one of my little... So I'm doing my little glass here. I'm also doing a smaller portion.
So, yeah, I have a small glass tonight, but then I'm doing I have a peppercini.
Okay.
Got to have me a peppercini on it. And then, all right, again, I'm going to have, and I should have put the shrimp cocktail on top, but I didn't. It's all right. And there you go. That's kind of like the salad I'm going to do tonight.
Love it.
And, of course, I've got the celery and the Slim Jim separately sitting in there. Something I actually did is I actually got a real lime to stick in there tonight.
Okay, good job. And one of the things that when I am making a fresh Bloody Mary that I personally like is horseradish.
What is it? Show it again.
The horseradish.
The horse. Oh, gosh. Yes. Now, I have that horseradish vodka, but I didn't bring it out tonight.
Yeah, that, you got to be very specific on that. Where's my... See if I can open this. Because I was planning on making fresh Bloody Mary mix, but when I looked, I was pulling something out of the cabinet, and I saw that I still had this one. I said, "Oh yeah, I need to use my Mary's mixers," and I haven't found it again lately, but there are other mixers out there.
Go back to, I want to say it was this November, December of 22 that we had them on. We were almost a year into the podcast when they came to visit us. Who was it? They're from there. You remember?
It was the owner that came out, and actually it was so funny because as I was looking for something on my calendar, I had a reminder to one of my clients is the one that introduced me to Greg, who's the owner of Mary's Mixers. So I had that note, and I was like, oh my goodness, that is too funny when sometimes things come up and those are the reminders. So Greg, if you're hearing, thank you very much. And I'm going to use... And normally I also, when I add to my, so there's so much that you can do to deviled eggs. And so mine is going to be like this. There's my asparagus spear. So here's my little Bloody Mary.
I'm going to mix mine up. I'm going to shake here in a minute. So I will be going silent when I do that.
Right. So one of the things that Rams does here, their location, they have all sorts of really good food. What they do is that they will give you 4 ounces of beer along with your Bloody Mary and your skewer, and so it's
like a chaser.
Yeah, it's really cool. So this is
I would want the Bloody Mary to go with my beer. I'm different that way, I guess.
Well, it's really cool because you get your tall glass of your Bloody Mary and then this little short beer, and you can pick whatever beer of theirs that they have. So it's a lot of fun. So you're going to shake, shake, shake. There you go. Always shake, either away from you or on your, over your shoulder, never, towards your face, because you never know, what would happen. But, when you're opening it, you got to be very careful, y'all, because you don't want to do that. I do mine directly into the glass, and I did have the last Bloody Mary that was made for me, it was done right in front of me, and she did amazing. Used the horseradish, did the pepper, did the Tabasco, and used the asparagus spear, which I'm using.
Oh,
so
I never thought of putting asparagus in. That would be cool. I should try that next time.
And so you can really pair a lot of different things. So that's why I did it this time. With deviled eggs, there's also so much that you can do with it. I had found a new recipe. I don't know. Cheers. Here. All right.
Here we go. Got to take the first taste, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, there's something I think I probably need to add just a little bit.
What's that? A little bit Tabasco?
Some pepper sauce. I use Tabasco, but we have Louisiana in our house. We have Tabasco. Mm-hmm. Whatever your flavor may be. Yeah.
I got reds.
Anyway. So yeah, that's a good.
So with this deviled eggs, it was supposed to have the sweet gherkins, and I'm like, I just don't want sweet, so I didn't. So a lot of times I'll just chop up. These are homemade, if you will, pickles. One of my clients gave those to. Well, I just moved them. I had like this big jar as big as my head. So I just moved a few over to the small jar because I was bringing it to the office. So,
So I'm going to take my dilapidated one first. My yolks shifted to the wrong side, so I only have 3 good-looking ones.
Same here.
Bad-looking ones.
Same here. My dilapidated one, I took and I ate it before the podcast started. As we were waiting, the countdown, and that's when I ate it. Well, one thing that Chicago did is that they put a pickle spear in my Bloody Mary. And I was like, what are you doing putting pickle into my Bloody Mary? But you know what? I have learned to appreciate it. A pickled asparagus, is really good. But this is like pretty good.
So I frequent a place called, my favorite bar is called Walk On Sports Bar here. It's in the Colony, Texas. Yeah. And their Bloody Mary, they put pickled beans into.
Oh, like a green bean?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
They don't have a lot of salad to it, like I would say. They have pickled bean. I want to say they have an olive.
Okay.
I think maybe it's a lime. I don't know. I'd have to look it up real quick to see all the stuff they have in theirs. It's not much like I normally do. Like the Bloody Mary itself, the mix, the vodka is very well done, but they don't have the additives to it. Which I love the additives. All right. I love to have celery in mine. I love to have, you know what I mean? An olive. I love to have a pickle. I love to have a peppercini.
That's part of the fun is having just something with it that just goes very, very well. So that's kind of the fun part.
And to me, like a Bloody Mary should be testing all of these things out.
Yes.
All right. You should always be trying to find the perfect Bloody Mary. Mm-hmm. You should never find it. You should always be trying to make it again. Yeah.
And I did see a Bloody Mary. I just was not willing to spend almost $30 when I was in Vegas this some time ago, where this Bloody Mary was like, it had so much food on it. I was like, wow. And I said, okay, that's a little much. But I didn't get that. But the tomato juice, there was a tomato juice cocktail that came out around Prohibition where it was tomato juice and make it quite cold. They wanted you to have your tomato juice cold. Then 4 ounces of tomato juice, 4 ounces of the Worcestershire sauce, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, and then salt to taste. Now, one of the things that I did not do on this tomato juice here or my Bloody Mary was that normally I would rim it with my tahini, and I forgot to do that. So I might get, this one done. I don't know. But yes, because they'll ask you if you want salt or no salt. I was like, last time I was like, well, do you have tahini? They're like, well, of course we do. And I was like, that's what I want.
A good bar better have tahini.
Right. It just has the citrusy that's really good. But it was vodka came to the U.S. and we've talked about this before. Like shortly after World War II is when it became a little bit more popular here in the U.S. because of Vladimir Smirnov that had fled Russia and moved to France, and he sold the rights to the company that's known for the A1 steak sauce. And he marketed to the U.S. as white whiskey. So it was not really taken as like, oh, people didn't want to just drink white whiskey. And so the Bloody Mary really made it popular. But of course, there's always drama and controversy as who started the Bloody Mary. And so it was in the 1930s where it really first started, but then somebody else said, oh, no, I was the one that came up with it. So it was in the 30s when it first came out, but then it was George Jessel who said that he invented the Bloody Mary. And it was, he said he wanted a tomato pick-me-up, and a morning glory. So he happened to have mixed in the tomato juice with some vodka, Smirnoff vodka, and the juice, the juice for the body and the vodka for the spirit. You know what? That tagline I will take. I love that. And so it came out in September of 1955. And essentially it was the best tomato juice, add a jigger of mellow Smirnoff 80 and season with Worcestershire sauce and serve it cold. And so that was in the 1950s, but it was in the 60s where it became a little bit more specific to what you find today. 1964, I think it was, where that's when it became what it is now. But it was King Cole's website that says that Pete Petoit, in 1934 is who came up with it in a bar in New York. So who are you going to listen to? You know what? There's always something out there, but it was called the Red Snapper, which had the tomato juice, the vodka, the Worcestershire sauce, salt, cayenne pepper, and lemon juice, and shake it well with ice and serve it in a Delmonico glass. Okay. So do y'all know what a Delmonico glass is?
No, I don't. Am I supposed to know this? Will I be quizzed on this later?
So no, there's not going to be so the Delmonico glass essentially is it's not a highball, but it's round. So it would be somewhat like this, only it's going to be
more of a cone shape, right?
No, not even cone, straight. So it's just straight. So it's more of a tube shape. Back then they had beautiful names for everything. So it would be similar to a Collins glass, I guess is the closest one that I would say. Although to me, a Collins glass is a little bit skinnier, so skinny and tall. This is just round. So it would be like this, only nice and round all the way down. Okay. But most bars are going to put it into a pint glass, which they would also use for beer.
Okay. So. I mean, and now you personally, how often do you have a Bloody Mary with, say, dinner or an evening meal? I have it mostly a breakfast or lunch type, or brunch type drink. It's not something I basically can't tell you the last time I had one with a dinner.
Right. It's not my go-to for dinner.
No.
I don't have it for lunch or brunch.
And I think it's one of the reasons why we put the deviled eggs and the shrimp, because basically, shrimp would be an appetizer, and deviled eggs would be a morning type meal.
I forgot my bacon.
Oh, bacon. How many different people have you seen in different spots around the country? I've had it in Wisconsin, San Francisco, I want to say Phoenix, Vegas, and San Antonio, where I've had bacon in it.
I love bacon. And I think I might have mentioned this in one of the other podcasts where I went when I was having actually Bloody Marys for dinner because I was checking them out.
Yeah.
And they had this big bacon, and so I was like, I absolutely love that. Oh, I just dropped my cheese.
So one of the holiday movies I was watching was like a couple. They get lost on a ski trip or something, or they're on a ski trip or proposal trip, and she falls down one side of the mountain, he falls down the other.
Oh gosh.
She ends up, with some other innkeeper with it was Lindsay Lohan.
Oh, okay.
With some innkeeper because she can't remember who she is. What's that called?
Oh, like Overboard.
Huh?
It's almost like Overboard.
Sounds like Overboard, but it done with Christmassy, right?
Oh.
The boyfriend, he ends up trying to find his way back from the other side of the mountain and ends up on a pond with a fisherman who's on ice fishing.
Okay.
So the ice fisherman says, well, the truck isn't working, so we're going to hike our way out.
Okay.
In the meantime, the fisherman, he's prepared for the elements. So they stop and they do a campfire, and he fries up some breakfast in the morning with bacon. And this is the first time this boyfriend has ever had it because he's a vegan.
Oh.
And it's like, yeah, we'll have bacon. What's that? just try this. All right. It's what we eat for breakfast. You're gonna need it to hike. So the kid eats it and he goes, oh my God, this is good. Why wasn't I told him? I mean, like this guy who's supposedly a vegan, right? Has never had it. He goes, but this is so good. Why?
So did he become unvegan at the end of the movie?
At the end of the movie, he ended up running off with someone else. I think it was the
fisherman's daughter.
No. He ended up running off with the bellhop.
Okay. Yeah. So
I kind of thought he should have been that way anyway. But anyway, with the way he was portrayed. But anyway.
Roast beef sliders definitely go well with Bloody Mary.
Which is it? The roast beef?
Mm-hmm.
Beef has got to go good with a tomato.
It goes very well. And what I did with my deviled egg is that I chopped it with capers, bacon, and scallions, or you can also do chives. Mm-hmm. Inside of it is bacon. There's scallions in there. I did both mustards, both Dijon, as well as a high quality. So coarse ground Dijon and yellow mustard with less sodium from Boar's Head. And then mayo. And I had just recently tasted some deviled eggs that were more mustardy. And so these are a little bit more mustardy, but then I added the capers to give it a little bit of the brine that I didn't put in from the pickles because there's no pickle juice in it. So it's a little bit of brine from the capers to give it a little something.
I don't think I've ever done capers on them. I go more. My mustard is a standard yellow mustard. I don't do pickles, anything like that in my deviled eggs, but I add sriracha in the mix. And that's just a dot of sriracha on top with my smoked paprika.
That was the one thing I forgot was the paprika. No. But I love paprika because it gives it color. Mm-hmm. Because of the bacon and the scallions, it gave it some color. But yes, the paprika just makes it pop.
Well, I went smoked paprika because of how much I've been using that smoking different meats. Mm. It's the first time I've ever done it on my deviled eggs. Usually I use regular paprika. Mm. Oh. Anyway. Oh, man. This is really good.
Yeah.
I'm actually enjoying this meal tonight.
Yeah. Gompers. Let me see. I haven't even read what's on the side. It says Herman Gompers was an ordinary man, and neither are Gompers spirits. His life was a combination of both amazing and tragic moments, turning into a quintessential American success story. And it's made from pure water and U.S. corn. Learn more at gompersdistillery.com, family and veteran owned. So this is local to Oregon, and you know me, and anything that's Oregon, it's got my G up here. So see where the G is. I got the G right there, and I got the G right there. So
there's stuff like that on the Western, but I can't read that.
Yeah, I can't read it either. I'd have to take a picture of it and make it bigger. I have done that. Yes, folks, we've gotten to the point where when we have to take a picture of the instructions and to be able to blow it up on our phone, that's pretty sad. But for those that are younger than us, you'll see when you get to be our age.
Yeah. But it does give the website in plain thing, westernsunvodka.com. Western Sun Distillery is in Pilot Point, Texas. All right, which I live in Oak Point, Texas, which is about 10 miles from Pilot Point. So hold on. I actually will look it up and tell you exactly how far I am from the distillery. Maybe they'll drive down and give me more.
That's a very good deviled egg.
They are exactly 15 miles from my house.
As for, let's look at, it's in Redmond, Oregon. So Redmond is right next to, it's Central Oregon is what it's considered. It's about 3 hours away from me because it's right next to Bend. So Bend and Redmond, it's usually they'll say Bend, Redmond. And the airport is technically in Redmond. So you're flying into Redmond, you're not flying into Bend. But most people, when they're flying into Redmond, they're going to Bend. But Redmond is right there. So that's where they are located. So it's a 3+ hour drive for me.
A 3-hour tour?
All right. Well, depending on the time of year, when you're going over the pass, it's going to be a 3-hour tour that you better be ready for that.
Is that the Mount Hood Pass?
It's no, it's not Mount Hood. It's because there's Hood River. Well, there's Hood River, Mount Hood. You could go through there's multiple ways of getting there. But it is actually over, if you're going through Portland, you're going by Hood River and then crossing in. I usually go through Salem. So I'm going through Detroit Lake and Sisters to get in. I find that a prettier drive because you're going over one of the mountains. And there's 3, they call them 3 sisters because there's 3 mountain peaks that you can see. I know there's just so much topography out here. You know, we go from ocean to greenery to desert. I mean, we have it all. We truly do.
I want to say it was, I'm trying to look it up on the map and tell you the exact route I took when I did do that trip in 2010 into Portland.
Which was a year before I moved here, because I moved out here in 2011.
And because I came in, and I'll tell you the places, because I stopped in, I was in, I stayed in Bend. I stayed in Bend, Redmond area because I was at Crater Lake, and then I came up that way. And then I would have taken, looks like 126 over the mountain. No. It was Mount Hood. It would have been 26 up over Mount Hood that I took.
Okay. And
down through Sandy and Gresman, and then I come in and grabbed I-5. I didn't stay in Portland that night. I drove all the way. I want to say I drove over the river and stayed like Vancouver or something, but then and then the following day I rode up to Seattle.
Okay.
That was the motorcycle trip I did in 2010 when I was up there.
This was really good, and I'm not a big roast beef eater.
Mm-hmm.
Hey there, Mark. Thank you, buddy, for being here.
Yeah. It was 2010. I will say that there's a reason in 2010, though, the Starbucks that I stopped at when I came back down into Portland to take my break there was a gentleman I met there, and I don't think I'm friends with him on Facebook anymore because I haven't seen him in a long time. But he turned me on to Tim Ferriss's book, The 4 Hour Work Week. That's literally where I learned about the 4 Hour Work Week for the very first time. And literally, I would buy it at a bookstore on my way home and start reading it.
Oh wow!
While I was on a motorcycle.
I have that book.
Uh-huh.
I've had it for so long, but at the time I was not an entrepreneur. I was working for somebody else.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'll get there sometime.
Well,
I haven't gotten there yet.
See, I've always been a self-help person, even though so it's not really entrepreneur, I've been a self-help person.
Right.
But I was always looking to better myself.
Yeah. Same here.
And that's why I always look for books that would have given me an entrepreneur edge, a personal growth edge.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have been when I found the 4 Hour Work Week.
I like that. But we always have to start looking at ways, how can we improve ourselves? Because we got to keep growing. We got to keep growing.
I know. Speaking of keeping growing, so Craig and Larry Broughton are hosting their new class on public relations, right? And it starts tonight. And he was offering it this morning. It's like, well, it's going to be starting at 7:30. And I'm like, yeah, by the time you guys are starting, I'm going to be drinking. But Gladys. Too many people from our world of self-help have tried to infringe upon our Monday nights. And I'm like, no.
I know. It's Monday. Who does anything on Monday?
Well, I was the networking group I was part of. So I'm part of Master Network still. Still a member of 2 different chapters of Master Network. So I was a member of a 3rd chapter that met on Mondays. And I kind of went, Mondays just ain't working for me.
There's my piece of cheese that fell in way at the bottom. So, deviled eggs, they have also been called angel eggs. Only nobody calls it angel eggs. Everybody calls it deviled eggs. But they can be traced back to Rome, where they boiled eggs, seasoned them with spicy sauces, and that was an appetizer that they had back then. So, but of course, it was for the wealthiest homes of the Roman Empire. So it's not like it was just everybody. They had a saying that was pretty much from eggs to apples. That's what the wealthiest homes had: eggs, apples, everything in between. Then in the 13th century, that's when eggs began to appear in Spain. And then the recipes included grinded boiled eggs, egg yolks with cilantro, onion juice, pepper, coriander, and fermented fish sauce. I don't know if I'd like that very much. But back then, you know what? That was their salt. And then in the 15th century, the stuffed eggs became popular across Europe. And there was even in medieval cookbooks, they included recipes for boiled eggs with raisins, cheese, and herbs. Something about the raisins just does not go with cheese and herbs, but that's...
Well, I don't know if I'd even do cheese in my deviled eggs. Now, I like cheese in my scrambled.
Right. But then, yeah, so that makes it kind of, I don't know if I want that. True story on that. Then in the mid-19th century, that's when deviled eggs arrived in the U.S. 1896, the Boston Cookbook had the first suggested of using mayonnaise as an ingredient for deviled eggs. And then in the 18th century, the term deviled eggs was first used in print to describe spicy foods. And it was presumed because of the heat of the seasoning was associated with the fires of hell. But it does come from the culinary term devil, which first appeared in the 18th century as a noun, and then in the 19th century as a verb. And it meant to cook something with fiery hot spices or condiments.
Interesting. But I think of like cakes. Devil's food cake, angel's food cake.
Right.
Devil's food cake usually meant chocolate. Angel's food usually meant
white,
vanilla, and it's usually angel's food is usually a fluffy type cake.
Yeah.
Which is interesting how they've used the terms over the years. And to me, deviled eggs, I mean, I don't know how much you had them growing up. On the East Coast, it was like that was at every Christmas party. Somebody
Nope.
had deviled eggs.
I didn't get introduced to deviled egg till I was in my 20s.
Really?
Mhm.
Almost everything I have in my Bloody Mary, I was introduced to as a kid as part of the buffet when we went to a family outing of some sort. Speaking of family outings, today and tomorrow, growing up for me, were the biggest family outings together. And it was
Really?
Russian Christmas. Today's Russian Christmas Eve. Tomorrow's Russian Christmas. And that was always the biggest celebrations with my family that I remember. And I was about 10 years old when my mom and dad stopped taking us to the family outings.
Oh,
And I loved them as a kid. And it was about the time that I was 12 years old that we moved from the area, so we weren't able to go there all the time. Like we were a half-hour ride from Grandma's house.
okay.
All right, and then we moved to where we were a 3-hour ride from Grandma's house. So when I was 12 years old, but those were family memories, and I remember things like I ate radishes, and I mean I would eat radishes straight out of the bowl.
Oh yeah, radishes. I did grow up with radishes. I remember cutting them. I learned how to cut them with the paring knife.
Yeah.
Well, whatever, we had a very dull paring knife because my aunt was afraid of sharp knives. So every knife in the house was dull. And so it was a dull paring knife that we would cut into it, and then we let it soak in water to have the radishes bloom into what looked like a pretty flower.
Yep.
And then, of course, eating the petals. I remember that as a kid. That was fun.
Yes, exactly. Same thing. Same memory. I love it. Yeah. And celery. I mean, we had celery with peanut butter, celery with cream cheese.
Oh yes, not cream cheese, but peanut butter. Absolutely.
We've done both. So I mean, yeah, I've seen both. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh my goodness, that was such a fun snack.
Yeah.
During the summer.
Yep. And like dill pickles. Dill pickles were spread everywhere. All right. Pepperoncinis. They were there everywhere. I mean, we ate pepperoncinis and added to almost everything. We didn't, you know what I mean? It was in the salad.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
and it's funny. I mean, but the one thing when I was younger like that we didn't have because of where we lived, and it wasn't really popular in the 70s to find off the coast, was shrimp cocktail.
Oh,
it wasn't until until the 80s, late 80s, that we had shrimp cocktail on a regular basis. And that was because the method to transport the shrimp from the coast inland faster. As opposed to when I was a kid, the transportations to get it to my small town, they'd been bad by the time they got there.
See, and growing up, I mean, I remember making Mexican shrimp cocktail with V8 juice. Yeah. So I remember I would cut everything up. I would get all the stuff in there. And then I used to love getting just the regular, oh my goodness, not the Nabisco, but just the crackers, just the regular saltine crackers. And I would put it, as decoration to make it look pretty. But of course, I had to pull it out very quickly because the V8 would just soften up that saltine cracker really quickly. And I just wanted just enough to give it flavor, but not enough to make it fall apart. But yeah, I remember as a 11-year-old, 12-year-old, I would make Mexican shrimp cocktails with V8 juice. So that was just a staple that we were always eating shrimp. That was a thing in my house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it's just interesting what we grow up with. I say like almost everything with the exception of the shrimp cocktail I had growing up as a kid in our family outings, which, as I said, today, January 6th is the day we're recording this podcast. All right, tomorrow, January 7th, 2025, and that was the 6th and 7th were Russian Christmas. All right, go look it up. If you can Google it, Russian Christmas is a thing. All right, for us, that wasn't our Christmas day. No, that was a family gathering, and like it was a 3-day party.
Oh, nice.
And I remember those 3-day parties, you know what I mean? And usually almost always they fell around the playoffs on weekends.
Yeah.
Football. All right. And I grew up in the late 70s with a family that were all Pittsburgh Steelers fans. So, yeah, they were a huge thing to me. That's why I remember it.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway, great memories from when we were kids. Bloody Marys, I didn't have them until I was an adult. But everything in my Bloody Mary, including the deviled eggs that we had tonight, were part of a family celebration growing up. And that's probably why I remember them and love them that much.
Nice. And there's been times that I have ordered the Mr. T Bloody Mary mix when I'm on a flight.
Yeah.
It's not that I want the Bloody Mary. I just want the mix. The mix tastes so good. Again, breakfast. So morning flight, that's what I wanted. I want it in a morning flight. And I've done it where I've added just lemon juice to my Bloody Mary mix, and it just tastes good. Again, for breakfast.
Yeah. That's the thing I don't like about flights sometimes is they've got to open the little bottle. They can't give it to you that I can just stick it in my purse. You put it in your purse. I would put it in my bag and we'd take it with me later. You can't. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, that they do sell the mix. Like even Southwest Airlines has just the mix if that's what you want.
Yeah. I love it. And now they it was funny because I used to fly so much and they just had beer and wine. They didn't have mixers. Now they have mixers. They'll give you a gin and tonic. They'll make you a Bloody Mary. It's so funny how things have evolved in getting people to feel comfortable on their flights.
Yeah.
As comfortable as you can be, and depending on how long your flight is and where you're staying.
I will say though, during the pandemic, I flew twice. All right. And when there was no alcohol. And I remember because one of those flights was to fly to California to help Craig move to Texas, which you fool, you moved back to California. Why? Anyway, I flew out there and I drove his car back for him. But I remember because you couldn't get booze on the flight. So I went to, and I couldn't walk through security drunk.
Right.
I literally walked in, sat at the bar at the airport and got myself good and toasty so that I can get on the damn plane. I'm not a fan of flying, ladies and gentlemen. I've done it, and I've done it for a lot but I always had to drink when I flew. Because I can't tell you how many times to do the 6 a.m. flight to be at Craig's event at 8 in the morning that I had a Bloody Mary or two on the damn plane getting there.
Yeah, my brother doesn't fly.
Yeah.
He just doesn't fly at all. He's flown before. He does not like it. And nope. So when he came to visit me, he and my sister-in-law drove. From Southern California all the way up here. So it took them 2 days to get up here, and then they spent 3 days with me, and then they took them 2 days to get back.
So, I mean, I don't mind doing it with Gwen, and we went, we're getting off the topic here today, but flying, it's just not my thing. I did it with Gwen for last year for her uncle got married in South Carolina. Okay. And we went, all right, and when we left the hotel, she had left things in the hotel. She's like, I got to go back. And me, I'm stressing getting to the airport. That's me. I stress until I'm on the plane and I'm sitting in my seat and I'm buckled in. I'm good, right? Up until that point, I am stressed like hell. She said, you take the car, return it, go to the airport. I will get an Uber and I'll meet you at the airport. And literally, I was at the bar at the airport with a Bloody Mary in my hand, and she showed up 6 minutes later.
And you're like, I just need a drink.
In case I'm getting on that plane by myself. Yeah.
Oh, that's too
funny. Love it. I'll fly with Gwen. It's easier for me to fly with Gwen than it is. I mean, and I'm pretty sure that if I flew with you, I'd be fine. If I flew with somebody I know, it's a different story.
Right.
I can't stand flying. And I've always hid it until the pandemic. I hid it. I did not tell people how much it stressed me. All right. Because I had to do it for my work and I just kept it silent. All right. No one knew.
Just sucked it up.
I sucked it up. All right. And now, as I get older, there's a lot more things like 2024. I'm glad that it's over because it was one of the most stressful years in my life and business. And I have done everything in my life. Almost 20 years ago now, I started setting my life up so I would never put myself in a stressful situation again because I can't handle the stress. I really can't. All right. So I have to insulate myself from it, which means that's why you'll never hear Tim talk about, well, let me tell you how to get rich. Because Tim doesn't care about being rich. He cares about not being stressed.
Right.
And I will work hard enough to have a comfortable life, to not be stressed. I don't care about having a wealth. And I don't care about living and driving a freaking, Maserati. I give a shit less. Right. but that was why I set my life up that way. And in 2024, everything fell, and I got all the way down to the levels of stress.
Yeah.
And some of you see me the last couple months. It's one of the reasons why Christmas time I ducked out for 2 weeks and said, that's it. I'm done with this. I'm going to go set myself up to be stress-free and enjoy my holidays with my family. So,
and it's probably also why you got sick when you got sick, and you were sick for like what?
I was sick for 4 or 5 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. I still have a cough that I got from July, so it's like it kind of comes and goes. So March is my next appointment with an ENT to try to figure out, because my pulmonologist says it's not your lungs. They've tried everything. It's still here. So, but yeah, I was hoping that when I got sick, it would kind of reset everything and make it go away. And I thought it was, and it's like, nope, still here. So I'm like, And then I thought, oh, this is the first week I'm not coughing. And then last night I was coughing again. I had to take my meds to help suppress it, but that's okay. We're here. New year, we can always start a new year whenever we want. Reset, y'all. Yeah. Find your goals. What are the things you're going to be working on? What's the one thing you're going to focus on? And there's multiple ways that you can reset mentally in order to move forward. Yeah. So don't think it's like, oh, it doesn't matter. Just start your year whenever you want to start your year, and just reset and go. And just look at it. Okay, from this moment for the next 3 months, what's it going to look like starting today, whatever that day is.
Yeah. So and I've been under under the quite a bit of stress, and because I took 2 weeks off, I'm more relaxed. But today it kind of picked up some, because today I had to go start catching up from taking 2 weeks off. But anyway, it's okay. All right. I set myself up a little bit more to be able to handle it. And I cleared some things out of my schedule. I cleared some things out of my life that went, you know what? New year, reset. Let's take some things away that stress me out. Yep. I can do without them for a while. We'll introduce them back later.
Yeah. So, and that's okay. Sometimes that's what we need to do. We need to say goodbye to the things that are not helping us, that are adding stress. So it's one of the things that I did with the team. I said, what are the things that, as a team and as a leader at the time, what are the things I need to stop doing? That was red, so if they put it on the red column, it was like a stoplight. If it was red, stop doing it. If it was yellow, is, how do I start doing it? And if it was green, is what are the things I need to continue doing? So if we look at our life, it's like, what should we continue doing that's helping us, moving us forward? What are the things we need to start doing that's going to help us move forward? And then what are the things that we need to stop doing that are stopping us from moving forward, or that are adding anxiety or stress to our life? So if we look at our, just take one thing, whether it's work or personal, ask those questions, and then slowly but surely work on one thing this week, and then another thing next week. Sure. You'll get there, y'all. We're here to be a part of the fun, give you tips and tricks, give you recipes, give you ideas of pairings, and give you some good cocktails while we're at it too.
And one of the things I will say, Gladys, that I don't do in my life is I don't ever get stressed out and go, oh, I need a drink.
Right.
I've never in my life needed a drink, ever. I enjoy my drink, and that's what our podcast is about, is enjoying the drink. I have a drink because I'm going to enjoy the taste, not because, man, I had a bad day, I need a drink.
Right.
I've never been that way in my life, and I get there's people out there you're like that. You're like, man, I need a drink. I'm not that way, and with exception of getting on the airplane.
Right. Well, I threaten, because I have some of my alcohol here, and sometimes it's a stressful day, and I'm like, I'm gonna have you. I'm gonna have one. Give me a minute. Let me finish this one thing. Give me a minute. And I talk to my objects in my, so I'm like working away, get that done, get on a roll for the next thing. And then I look at it and I go, one more thing. And then, I keep going. Before I know it, it's 5, 6 o'clock. And I'm like, well, I'm going to need to get home let me finish this so I can get home. I'll have a drink there, and then I'll get home, and then I don't, so it just depends. It's like, I talk a big game, but then it's like, no, it's okay. I'm good.
Well, when drink becomes down to I have to have it, and you no longer enjoy the taste. It's like, I was at the coffee shop and they had a new coffee. I tasted the coffee because I want to taste it.
Yeah.
I want to hit the taste buds going across my tongue, right? And that's what I did with the vodka tonight. Come on, I tasted the vodka.
Yeah.
Right? Why? Because I want to enjoy the taste of life and not just, let me just down the vodka so I can get drunk.
No. And that's why I say, y'all, or we're saying, get some good vodka. It doesn't have to be the top shelf, the most expensive. Get something in the middle. Don't do the bottom shelf. You're going to end up with a headache. That's no fun. So enjoy.
There are a lot of middle shelf vodkas that are awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I was looking down the vodka aisle today at how many choices there are, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
And there are so many out there that I'm like, man, I got to try that one. Man, I got to try that one. Man, I got to try that one. And I mean, the guy at the bar, he said, you know what's my most popular? And I said, yeah, I know what it is. It's Tito's. He goes, yep, Tito's. I'm like, yeah, everybody just goes for one. They have never tried something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am in Texas. I love Texas vodkas. My favorite vodka is Crater Lake, Oregon's vodka. But I can't get it here. All right. Gladys turned me on to it, and I can't get it here.
And I think I have a bottle down here in a box that I still haven't sent to you.
I think that she's supposed to send it to me for my birthday last September.
Was that when I was supposed to send it? I don't remember what.
No,
I know.
wait a minute. You know what we're going to have to do in like February is I'm going to have to send you a bottle of Western Sun, and we're going to have to compare Western Sun to Crater Lake. Another Texas. I mean, even your other one there from Oregon, you were going to have to taste and do more Oregon versus Texas liquors, right?
And it's, in case y'all have been around for a while, you would know that usually 99% of the time Oregon wins.
It's okay. Alcohol, the foundation of a good alcohol, what is it?
Water.
Where's the water from? And I'm not going to criticize it and say, I mean, come on, Texas water is not, you're going to have to purify it, right? Oregon, you get natural waters. The Appalachian Trail, you get natural waters, right? Yeah. I would say, even like upstate New York, you're getting natural waters. Kentucky, you're getting natural, you're getting natural charcoal filtered waters. Right? That's why so many good bourbons and whiskeys come out of Kentucky. It's because of what the water is there.
Yeah.
Water matters in your alcohol, ladies and gentlemen.
And similar with your cocktail, if you have a good liquor, that's going to be the base of your cocktail. And if you have a good base, it's going to make a really good cocktail.
Right. Yep.
I know my best salsa, when I make salsa, when I have fresh homegrown tomatoes, my salsa is going to be that much better than if I'm just using store-bought tomatoes. Because the store-bought don't have that beautiful sweetness that just comes from having your own garden. So it makes a huge difference. But
now maybe I'll, because I'm one of the things I'm doing with the house now is, and I know we're way off topic and we're way over time, but is we're setting up things here. So we're having a garden. I'm getting my own rainwater. So, I mean, there's things I'm doing. Imagine if I get the rainwater, then I get a still and make some of my own. Ooh.
Yeah.
Always seeing what rainwater produces. Yeah. Anyway. There's a
year, and as we start the year, make sure that you sign up for the Insiders Club. Go to likethewayyouDrink.com. You must be 21 or over to join. A lot of fun things that we're doing behind the scenes. I mean, we give you little glimpses here and there. But if you're part of the Insiders Club, you will be the first to know of them. Yep. So go to likethewayyouDrink.com, sign up. No, it's free to join. So why not join?
It is. So, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, one of the reasons why we do this is we're building a list. That's why we have the Insiders Club. We're building a list of people we can do things with, people who have the same things in common we do.
Right.
If you're not building a list in online marketing, why are you doing it? Anyway, our other sponsors of the show, ladies and gentlemen, are both me and Gladys. Our businesses pay the bills around here. All right. So we're going to tell you a little bit about our business. I actually have the commercials if you want me to play them.
Ooh, sounds good. Thank you.
Let me play the commercials here. I'll do this one first.
Welcome to Insurance by Design, the expert in crafting tailored employee benefits packages, working with both your English and Spanish-speaking staff. Led by the acclaimed Gladys Boutwell, we're licensed to serve you in Oregon and Washington. Gladys brings a wealth of expertise with an MBA in international business and leadership, and is a certified insurance counselor. Honored for her contributions to Latino equity in Oregon, Gladys is also a best-selling author. Her book, Health Insurance Secrets Revealed, is revolutionizing how we understand insurance. With bilingual prowess, Gladys enhances communication, making insurance smoother and easier for all your employees. Is your website attracting the traffic and engagement it deserves? At SimpleEasyWebsites.com, we specialize in transforming ordinary websites into extraordinary experiences. Our experts know what it takes to make your online presence stand out and succeed. Gain valuable insights and tailored strategies with our professional website review. Don't let your website be just another page in the digital world. Visit SimpleEasyWebsites.com now and book your consultation today.
So our businesses pay the bills. All right, Gladys, tell them one more time about yours.
Insurance by Design, Gladys Boutwell here, helping your business become employer of choice through providing employee benefits. Get on my calendar, enrollnoworegon.com, and that way we can see what we can do for your business. And this is my co-host.
Hi guys, it's Tim Gillette. Simple Easy Websites and Simple Easy Marketing is my business. All right, we're twofold. Number one, we actually help you with your marketing ideas, marketing on your website, marketing your social media plans, building funnels and stuff like that. And secondly, we actually have the in-house team that actually can build your website and build your marketing and automation for you. Want to find out more, go to simpleeasywebsites.com. All right, book a consultation with us and we will actually walk through and tell you what is best for you. All right, it's about getting you the best results online, not about selling you a product or service. That's it.
And we'll see you next week, y'all, with another episode.
All right, guys. Till next week, guys. Cheers.